Assalamualaikum. My name is Surayya Akmal binti Mohamad. 1221891. Introduction of Indian philosophies. India is famous for the high regard it accords the seeker of wisdom and for its reverence and respect for wise persons. The immediate practical problem arising from this discovery was how one could come to know and to release this inner self and terribly become one with the very essence of universe. The theoretical problem raised by this discovery center on the difficulty of relating the multiplicity and diversity of experience reality with the suggest insight into the unity of all existence and the difficulty in ascertaining how knowledge of such an ultimate really could be achieved.
Historical overview. Deeply reflective thought is found already in Ridzewan, which may have been composed as early as 1500 BCE. Since those early beginnings, India has acquired a vast range of philosophical reasoning, speculation, and argument. It is difficult to approach Indian philosophy chronologically. However, for early Indian history is full of uncertainties with respect to names, dates, and place. In India, so much emphasis has been put on the content of the talk and so little emphasis on person, place, and time that in many instances it is not known who is responsible for the particular philosophy in question. And when the author is unknown, the time and the place can be reckoned only indirectly. Because of this, time is often recorded in terms of centers rather than years or days, and authorship is sometimes attributed to school rather than to individual person. The Vedic period. The main texts of the Vedic period are the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. Each Veda has 4 parts. The first part, the collection of verses called Samhita, contains hymns to the gods, vision and reflection, and chants of and formulas for success. The second part, called Brahmana, consists of arrangement of Samhita verses for ritual use. The third part, called Aranyaka, contains reflection and interpretation of the ritual. The final part, the Upanishads, contains reflection on the basic question underlying religious thought and practice. The epic period, the two most notable collections of material constituting this literature are India's two great epics, the Mahabharata and Ramayana. The Mahabharata is an epic that tells the story of the conquest of the land of India and in so doing provides a guide to life in all its dimensions, from the philosophical and religious to the political. And single most influential part of the Mahabharata is the Bhagavad Gita, the Song of the Lord. Second, the Ramayana, a beautiful poem in 4 volumes, sets out an ideal order for society as a whole and ideal way of life for the individual. The modern period, Gandhi, Tagore, Ramakrishna, Aurobindo, Vivekananda, and Radhakrishnan are among the more influential of India's modern thinkers. Now, as we enter the 21st century, India is enjoying a philosophical renaissance, where this category of ancient tradition, new interpretations of Western thought, creative work in comparative philosophy, and the development of museum are flourishing side by side, often influencing one another. Dominant features. There are 3 features that are found: practical character, karma, and dharma. First, practical character. Indian philosophies respond to both practical and speculative motivation. Practical consideration motivate the search for ways to overcome the various forms of suffering. Speculative considerations lead to construction of explanatory accounts of the nature of reality and of human existence, and to the development of logic and theories of knowledge. Second, karma. This principle of self-determination through action is called karma. Karma literally means action, but it refers to action in a comprehensive way that includes thought, words, and deeds. Furthermore, it includes all the effects of the various kinds of action, both the immediate and visible effects and the long-term and invisible effect. Karma is the force that connects all the moments of life to one another and that connects all things to one another. Third, Dharma. A person has a responsibility to act so as to maintain the order of the family, society, and the entire cosmos, thereby contributing to the well-being of others. This responsibility is called Dharma, a word that means upward or supports existence. The various duties that make up one's Dharma provide the moral structure for one's entire social life.
My title is Society and the Individual. India produced a variety of the texts that explain the basic aim of life and the ways of the achieving these aims. The two great epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita and the treatise on right conduct, Dharma, Shatras, that defines the right way to live. The first one, Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita presents a synthesis of Vedic Upanishads and treatise whereas is the song of the Lord, hymnless. We know what happened when Arjuna has to find himself unable to determine the right thing to do. Hence, self-decision, specifically the decision as to whether he should battle against his own family members in war that he prepares to fight cause of the distractions and that killing would accrue his instructions by Krishna and the importance of living a life of truth and purpose. Non-attention actions. Three ways of non-attentions. A goal of achieving independence of the goodness. A method, namely self-discipline in actions, feeling and thought. A principle states that in order to free oneself from the goodness, thought, self-discipline. The 2-point human aims. It is a key concept in India and refers to the 4 proper school of aims of the human aims. First, Dharma for individual is one moral duty, which is determined by one place in the family, social class, stage in life. Dharma for society rules for settling disputes and possible conflicts between individuals, for only when conflicts of interest between individuals and groups. 2. Artha. Mahabharata and the Panchatrata, 2 of India's most popular sources of values. First, Mahabharata does not only encourage the seeking of Veds. 2. Panchatrata, quick enough to wake eaters, standard stuff. 3. Karma. Karma is the enjoyment of the aggregates, objects of the 5 senses of hearing, feelings, seeing, tasting, assisted by the minds together with the soul. 4. Moksha. This aim reflects the emphasis put on the spiritual nature of human life in India. It was held that the fulfillment of a person's biological and social nature is a necessary, not sufficient condition for the fulfillment. The 3 points, social classes. In India, caste a rank and caste a member in a specific geographical area and identify those castes that are above and below them. The ranking of caste is based on purity and pollution, often associated with function of human bodies. The first are the Brahma Varna, excellent intelligence and speech, consists of the priests and the teachers. The 2, the Kshatriya Varna, strength, value and courage, consists of the protectors and administrations of society. The 3, the Vaishya Varna, practically intelligence and initiative, and it consists of the traders of the produces in society. 4, the Sudra Varna, lower intelligence, lack of initiative, and ability to take on Hegel's burdens, consists of the society of workers and servants. The 4-point life stages. The theory of social classes address the issue to maintain the social order while acting in accord with one's own nature. The theory of life stages as dharma consists of a series of 4 stages in life. And the first life stages, the student stage, enable the individual to learn about life in all of its various aspects. And the 2 life stages, as of the householder, all the text recognizes the central importance of the stage for the entire dependence upon the good and service the householders provided. The 3 life stage, ideally the 3rd quarters of one life is that of the forest dweller. 4 life stage, that of the recluse seeking moksha, is characterized by complex renunciations of worldly object desires.
Knowledge and reality, Nyaya and Vaisheshika. This statement provides a concise overview of the philosophical perspective of Upanishads, Samkhya, Nyaya and Vaisheshika, which have different types, which is Hindu philosophy. Vaisheshika is a tradition closely linked to Nyaya. It's borrowed the Nyaya theory of knowledge. It has 3 points. 1. The problem of knowledge. 2nd, the mean of knowledge. And 3rd is perspectival knowledge. The problem of knowledge. The basic problem of knowledge is that of ascertaining whether or not what is claimed as knowledge is actually knowledge, rather than just mistake opinion. In Nyaya thoughts, the analysis of knowledge involves 4 key factors: the known subject, the object to known, the known object, and the means of coming to know the object. Exploring the relationship between the knowing subject and the object of knowledge, as well as the means of acquiring knowledge, is crucial for developing a comprehensive understanding of what constitutes valid knowledge. The meaning of knowledge. According to Nyaya, the main characteristic of knowledge is that it illumines and reveals what exists. In other words, knowledge is the process by which we recognize the present and characteristic of things. Nyaya distinguishes between different means of knowledge based on the various causes responsible for the revelation of the object in knowledge. These principles in distinction lead to the identification of 4 basic means of source of knowledge. First, perceptual knowledge. Perceptual knowledge is characterized as true and determinate knowledge that emerges when the senses come into contact with their proper objects. The Nyaya philosophy's distinction between determinate and indeterminate perception provides a conceptual framework for understanding how genuine perceptions can be distinguished from perceptualistics. Inference. In Nyaya philosophy, inference is recognized as the second means of valid knowledge, independent of perception. This is defined as producing knowledge that comes after others' knowledge. Inference allows one to extend knowledge beyond what has been directly present. Comparison. Comparison involves recognizing similarities between objects and associating them of knowledge based on these observed similarities. It is regarded as a unique means of knowledge that combines elements of both perception and inference, contributing to a comprehensive understanding of the works. Testimony. Testimony is considered the first means of valid knowledge. Nyaya recognized as a valid means of knowledge when certain criteria are met. It involves the transmission of information by a reliable and honest person who possesses actual knowledge of the subject, and the hearer must fully understand and communicate information for it to be considered genuine knowledge. Next, the object of knowledge, the Vaisheshika categorized. According to the Nyaya Sutra, the things that we can know include the self, the body, the senses, the object of the senses, mind, knowledge, action, mental imperfection, pleasure and pain, suffering and freedom from suffering. As object of knowledge, all these kind of things depend upon the relation between a knowing subject and a world of object. Let's verify the Vaisheshika categories mentioned. Substance. Substance is described as the which it is independently of other things and serve as the locus of existence for other entities. It is considered real in itself and is conceptualized as the substratum of qualities and actions. Quality. Quality in the Vaisheshika system, which represent various qualifications or attributes of substance. These qualities contribute to the diversity and complexity of the material world, and the recognition of these qualities is essential for a complete understanding of reality according to this philosophical system. Motion. Motion is considered a fundamental and irreducible aspect of reality. Motion is seen as a dynamic aspect of reality, and the recognition of different types of motion help account for the diverse transformation observed in the world. Universals. Universal essence are described as entities that explain the shared characteristic or sameness found in individual things. These universals are objective and play a key role in the cognitive process of forming concepts and organizing the diversity of the works into meaningful categories. Particularity. Particularity is essential for understanding how individuals perceive and distinguish specific objects in the works. The existence of particularity in reality is posited as the basis for the differentiation and perception of distinct entities. Inherent is a category that highlights the unity and integration of diverse elements in a single entity. It is considered a foundational aspect of reality, and its independence as a category suggests that it plays a unique role in explaining the coherence of objects in our perceptual experience. Non-existence. This category refers to the absence or non-being of something, while non-existence might appear unconventional as a category of reality. The philosophy argues that its existence cannot be denied because even questioning it implies its existence. Lastly, the norm. Jnana's perspective on the self involves viewing it as a unique substance distinct from physical entities, consciousness, and the mind. According to Jnana, liberation entails freedom from consciousness, as it is seen as a source of duality and potential suffering. The liberate self, in its essence, simply exists as itself.
I'm Siti Norfadhilah binti Hassan, matric number 1221879. Alright, now I will to describe about part 3 is knowledge and reality of Jnana Vaiseshika. Firstly, according to the Jnana philosophy, a philosophy which focuses on logic and epistemology, and knowledge manifests with object. There are two sorts of knowledge, firstly and valid and invalid. First, valid knowledge is future divided into four. First, perception, inference, comparison, and verbal testimony bears. Right, invalid knowledge comprise memory, thought, error, and tarka. Next, the system reality of Jnana Vaiseshika therefore believe that the world our experience is plural, not only the level of experience but also the source level. The plurality of the experience is as much true as their source.
Below are 8 essays on the history of how Islam spread in India. How did it spread? Why is Islam spread in India? And how spread Islam in India? As I read in the book I study, there are some people who spread Islam, namely Dadu, Kabir, and Guru Nanak, as well as the history of Ghazali in studying philosophy India, as well as Ibn Sina in studying Sufi. I also read this book. There is a basic teaching of Islam which consists of 5, namely faith, prayer, fasting, sharing, pilgrimage. The fact about spiritual realization and the development of Sufi thought. These 5 pillars of faith and action define the essential duties of every Muslim. Each person is free to submit to God's will and to life in their life to righteousness and delineated in the Quran. The righteous who have submitted to His way will reap God's blessing in heaven, but those who do not submit will go to the hell to suffer eternal punishment. This spiritual realization of the right relationship between good and the individual sanctify all of life. The main tension was between the Orthodox Sunni and the Sufi ways. The first attitude stressed and accumulate tradition of the Muslim community in the understanding of the Quran. The second attitude characteristic of the Sufis, stress and spiritual experience and fulfillment of the individual. The third attitude from the tension between the previous two attitudes. It emphasizes the need to coordinate personal experience and belief with the law and practice of the large community. This slide tells some opinion from great figures as well, namely Ghazali and Ibn Sina about author theology and Ibn Sina about true love for God. Among the Sufi page that must be there are 7. Exactly where is? Repentance, abstinence, renunciation, poverty, passion, trust in God, and satisfaction. Here are some important points of interaction between Muslims and Hindus. You must be wondering who they are. They were influencers who spread Islam at that time. Who is? Kabir. The first one is Kabir, second one is Guru Nanak, and third is Dadu.
Second point I will describe part 4 is interaction between Muslim and Hindu of philosophy. In Muslim is a monotheistic faith and Muslim adhere to Sharia Islam. So Hindu is Hindu is a polytheistic faith whose followers follow religious law called the Dharma. Hindu practice good deeds to receive rewards.
Continuing tradition. In this continuing tradition, it is closely related to traditional philosophy, but Western philosophy has had an impact on old philosophy. In this topic, we will discuss 4 branches of philosophy from several figures. Number 1, Mohandas Gandhi. His philosophy is a renewal of the ancient vision of Dharma or moral order. It is informed, however, by his understanding of Christianity and modern Western thought and shaped by his involvement in contemporary political events in South Africa and India. Number 2, Aurobindo Ghosh presents a philosophical vision that is based on the ancient Vedic and Yoga traditions, but that incorporates his understanding of Western thought, especially the ideas of evolution and progress. Number 3, Muhammad Iqbal, national poet of Pakistan, is widely regarded as one of the subcontinent's most profound modern philosophers, as well as the greatest Urdu poet of his time. Lastly, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, late President of India, was essentially a Vedantist of the Advaita or non-dual school, but he was sensitive to and influenced by Western thinkers, especially Kant and Hegel. We will discuss among the characteristic 4 branches of philosophy. Number 1, Gandhi. Nothing is higher than truth, that is right without teaching. And life must be filled with love, that the teaching of Ahimsa symbolize a harmonious life based on old philosophy. Number 2, Aurobindo, the great philosopher yogi of Pondicherry, theory of Purusharthas, Varnas and Ashramas, the life of the spirit, yoga practice, and know yourself. 3. Muhammad Iqbal, adhere to Islamic philosophy, thinking about how to solve the problem of territorial division, settlement of relations with the British, famous for poetry. Only religion can achieve truth, and dependence on God. Lastly, Radhakrishnan, create a satisfying religious philosophy, and the recent President of India wrote many philosophical articles and books.
In conclusion, a society is said to be civilized when it meets all the characteristics and definitions given by historians relate to the meaning of civilization. One of the civilizations that succeed in expanding its influence to Malaya in the Indian civilization. Indian civilization has a lot of impact and influence on society in Malaysia, a kingdom that is the oldest in the world, that it rich in various culture, custom and arts that cannot be matched by any civilization. Significantly, the civilization that has long been established in Malaysia since the British colonial era has influence of the lifestyle of the local community, even though it exists several centuries ago. This is so because there are elements of Indian civilization that are synonymous with Asian culture.